Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today at Aston Martin to take a first look at the absolutely stunning Aston Martin V12 Speedster. The car has only just been introduced, but we're going to go for a walk around to go through all of the details, as well as taking a look here at some of their other new models, including the bright orange Valhalla, the new Vantage Roadster, as well as the DBX Q by Aston Martin. But I've popped out to take a good look at this, so let's get started then and check out the new Aston Martin V12 Speedster. Let's get started taking a quick walk around before we can go through things in more depth. A first look here at the brand new Aston Martin V12 Speedster. It is a stunning looking car, no question about it, and this is the edition inspired by the FA-18 Hornet fighter jet and carries some spectacular touches, which I'll show you more of when I can take a seat on the inside and also open up the rear compartment, which is especially cool. But this is presented here inside the atrium at Aston Martin's HQ here in Gaydon, Warwickshire in the UK, alongside their other new models, almost a mini motor show with the new Vantage Roadster, the Valhalla that we'll check out later on as well, plus the DBX. My first time really exploring one of these, but this is the car that I've come to see, and sitting here actually alongside the newly updated Vantage with that new look front end that they've introduced as an option, and also being the Roadster, gives us a small sense of this as well. Of course you can see the similarities in the design, but this just so happens to have, as the name suggests, the V12, the 5.2 litre twin turbocharged V12, a derivative of the unit in the DBS, which I think bodes fairly well for the future of the Vantage itself. But of course, the Speedster format, there is no roof, it is a permanent open-top two-seater. You have that extended, elongated style front end, but a very, very beautiful design, as is often the case with new Aston Martin models. There will only be 88 of these in total. I think in my mind it almost follows on a bit from the 177, of which there were 77, and you can see some elements of the design coming through from that too, as well as being based on that Vantage style shape. Everything is completely new for this though, and have a quick glimpse here at the inside of it. What a work of art. You have these wraparound sections of the canopy, everything made from carbon fibre, and then all of these touches, the straps that you can see all around, the screens that you have behind the digital displays. But one of my favourite details, about this car is actually the mirror arms, the way they're integrated into the door panels, the swan-type doors that open upwards, and I will be climbing on board in just a moment. But to start, I think, in more detail then with the design, right around the very front, you'll notice the new grille shape matches up with that on the Vantage Roadster over there, but with these additional openings towards the side, of course, for the cooling towards the engine. They've managed to keep the front end of the car incredibly low. Now, one of the ways to do that is by having this intake here, like in the DB5. There are lots of references actually to classic Aston Martins that you find when you go through this, but it has almost a double purpose of keeping the bonnet very low while also helping with the cooling. But the shape overall is reminiscent of Aston Martins of old, and in fact, I'm going to come over here to show you this for just a second. This is the Aston Martin DBR1, or at least a model of the DBR1, the car that they were victorious with back in the 1959 Le Mans 24 Hours. And you can see that shape, that format, now carried through into the modern era, into the new car as well. It also reminds me a lot of the car that we saw for Aston Martin's centenary back in 2013, the CC100 concept, which was a similar format, a two-seat, open-top, speedster-style vehicle like this. To continue around, headlights like on the Vantage, but it's also one single piece. You'll notice all the way from the front of the doors, one single body panel, all the way around. Very, very, very clean look. As we come around towards the sides, again, these side strakes, similarly, but with more sharp lines, more opening as well. Come around towards the rear, have a look here. Have a look at the way you can see straight through underneath that integrated body spoiler at the back, keeping the car planted down towards the ground. And then you've got those slash cut exhaust tips back there as part of the new exhaust that this car carries. So to talk a little bit more technically about it, up front, the 5.2 twin turbo V12, currently made over at the Ford plant in Cologne, Germany, by the team from Aston Martin, has 700 horsepower, 753 newton meters of torque. It goes through the 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox, and this car will do the 0 to 100 km/h sprint, 62 miles per hour, in just 3.5 seconds, all rear-wheel drive, and onto a limited top speed of 300 km/h, 186 miles per hour. Perhaps not the fastest, but I rather imagine when you've got got the wind in your face, or at least wearing a helmet, that's going to feel pretty quick regardless. Now, talking about helmets, check this out. Underneath that rear section, you have your helmet storage inside the buttresses. I'm going to open this up and show you in more detail. It is a work of art of carbon fibre inside there, but a really cool detail and touch to have added to the back of it like that. Now let's come and take a better look at the interior, the work of art that is the inside of Aston Martin's V12 Speedster. Now normally this car being a show car wouldn't be possible to sit on board, but I have special permission today to do so. So the outside handles are actually currently blocked over. Normally you would press in there, they would come out and you could give that a pull. But for today we will use the grab handles inside to open the doors, the swan doors, which open upwards so that they avoid the curbs below, and we're greeted by carbon fibre and many of these touches that pay tribute to the FA18 Hornets. You can see the full carbon door card, even the do not step lettering there. You've got the commemorative plaque here on the side sill, but inside all of the grab handles and the materials that are used. And in fact, the seats are quite interesting as well. A new technical fabric that's used for the pads on the carbon fibre seats. And if we actually fold these forward, have a look at how thin that seat shell actually is. Of course, carbon being incredibly lightweight, and you've got carbon fibre in here everywhere you look. To fold this back though, click it into place, and to take a seat inside where we're greeted by some familiar layouts and controls, but all done in a different way. But inside here then, in the V12 Speedster, carefully taking a seat on board to imagine this driving position. I'm going to delicately pull the door to, just close that carefully beside me. Wow, that view is something. Beneath, you have the infotainment screen in the centre. You've got a digital dashboard for the driver's information. You have controls in the layout here, familiar from what we've seen on Vantage. And then just look around, look at everything, look at all these touches on the passenger side of the dashboard, your seat controls on the central tunnel, your climate controls up here as well, your start in the centre, park, reverse, neutral, drive for the 8-speed auto gearbox. You've got your camera angles, you've got your general controls in the centre, but all of these bespoke touches, and this will actually eventually have a zipper that opens up for a storage compartment in the centre. But this view, having this right between you and the passenger, is something really unique. I'm just imagining what this driving experience would actually feel like. What a crazy view. Also with the Valhalla and the Vantage Roadster, but where you're sat above the bonnet line, above the shoulder line of the car too, almost with the wind in the hair. Although saying that, you would actually be wearing the helmet, which is stored in the buttress behind. I need to go and show you that, so let's hop on out then. The swan doors, which stay in place where you open them, stay out there, climb out carefully, to head round towards the back, where I can show you inside this, of course being a show car, being very delicate with it. Close the door carefully. So back here, this rear buttress can open either with the button on the key, and you have that paintwork that comes all the way around the cabin, which is also really nice, or a button inside if you want to release it, to hydraulically open it. On the case of this, I need to come down here, where we have a button just underneath above the plate, right about here, and it releases this, which opens up, where inside we've got a lot of carbon fibre and the two helmets strapped down, held in place as well, matching with the car. But this is actually magnificent to behold. The full carbon luggage space that you have behind, of course the exhaust system sitting beneath that, the full carbon of the underside of the hatch with the glass pinnacles, a very, very nice styling feature that this has. And then this, if we close it back down, latch it back into place carefully there, obviously is where you can see the shapes that you have around the rear, with the tail lights still like the Vantage, shaping up, but with that integrated spoiler at the back. And also just to explore parts of the diffuser, it's actually open from within, coming out through here. And obviously with the cut exhaust tips at the very back of it too. There is no question that is a stunning looking car. They cost £765,000, including VAT, and like I said, just 88 units in total. A very, very appealing thing, and very exciting for what it means in the future as well with this. The V8 Vantage, or the new Vantage I suppose we should say, potentially also to have a V12 at some point. For the time being though, they have taken the roof off. Inevitable that was going to happen, to make a very pretty looking two-seat Roadster. So you can see around the rear some of the similarities as well, the shape of the tail lights that you have there. But also in doing so, introduced this new option for the front. You might remember the difference with the new Vantage when it launched, was that it had a grille that went all the way down. It wasn't completely enclosed like the more traditional Aston Martin grilles. This is now an option. You can have either the older style or this style, whichever you should prefer. But while we're here too, it would be criminal not to take another look at the Valhalla. Now in the bright orange, the hybrid V6 hypercar, I think we can say, that is being created, 500 units, but this is aero to the max. I say to the max, it's actually slightly less than the Valkyrie, which sits even above it. But when you look around, look at that diffuser, for example, the way the tunnels start from right underneath is quite a work of art, while being an incredible performance machine. And then just have a look at the interior as well. Inside here, you're basically sat right down, flat on the floor. Very dedicated driving controls and position. Yeah, this is something very, very special. Just carefully close that back down as well. Show model for the Valhalla, also wearing the wings badge there on the side. Nice little touch that I hadn't seen before. Yeah, look how low the front is. This is all, of course, for aero. By having a very low front, helps with airflow over the top of the car. Knacker duct as well, just in here. What a crazy thing. What a crazy, crazy, crazy thing. And lastly, because I never really took a look at it, Aston Martin's new luxury SUV, the DBX. A big, big car for the company. And this is a demonstration from Aston Martin's Q division of personalisation that they can do with it as well. So this car, for example, has the satin grey paintwork. We've got the bespoke Aston Martin wings badge worn at the front. The front grille has the horizontal slats in gloss black. All the carbon fibre exterior pieces, like the splitter around here, these bonnet touches, also the side blades. And let's have a look at the interior. And it's really the first time I've spent any time around the inside of a DBX. The doors are pillarless, so you don't have the window frames, which is always a very nice touch. Inside as well, some really cool materials that are used as an example on this car. Here for the trim pieces, the inlays as well, the black speaker grills. And I also didn't realise it had this storage cubby underneath the central tunnel, which is a nice touch too. So I'd love to actually drive one of these at some point to get a feel for what it's like. But this, highly bespoke, lots of unique touches that have been added to it, and the styling around the rear, also very reminiscent again of the Vantage and also the V12 Speedster. If we actually open this up, more carbon fibre you can see back here. Powerful tailgate that will reveal the Q carbon fibre boot floor, which looks fantastic, has to be said. Really, really smart. Yes, this is a first quick look at the DBX for me, sitting here alongside that very, very special thing. So just close this back down, make sure it locks into place, and then come back over, I think, just for one last little look at this. The highlight of today for me, the brand new Aston Martin V12 Speedster. A magnificent thing, just the look of this, but the history as well. And having transformed from the CC100 that I remember filming 7 years actually ago now, when it was presented at Aston Martin's 100th anniversary. So here we are at the Aston Martin factory, having had a look at all of these fantastic cars, including this. Do let me know what you think of it, but I'm very, very impressed by the fact they have presented this car. I think it's an incredibly elegant and probably very fun thing to go out and drive. For today though, that is all. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support an awful lot, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!